entities he refused to disclose.
On Thursday, 30th April 2026, the High Court of Uganda, under the seal of Justice as Komuhangi, sentenced to death Christopher Okello Oyum after finding him guilty of murdering 4 juveniles.
I hereby sentence him to suffer death.
The sentence, the first of its kind in our times, has since then sent the country into a divided and sharp discussion, with many contemplating on the next move.
If the Court of Appeal agrees with the High Court, there is another ground of appeal, another step of appeal to the Supreme Court. Now, when the Supreme Court agrees with these 2 courts, that means now it is waiting a decision of the prerogative of Mercy Committee to the President, either to sign a death warrant or to pardon.
Senior Commissioner of Prisons in charge of corporate affairs, Frank Baine, tells UBC that Oyum is still a subject to fairness.
The state must appeal for him. Even the trial, every high court trial, there must be a lawyer. If you can't afford to hire, the state will give you. So even in the other stages, the state is interested to have justice served. And for the justice to be served, the appeal process must be completed.
And why create all these delays for someone who has been fairly tried by a competent court?
The whole idea is there is a delay so that something could come out. We had an incident of Mpaji from, I think, Soga Kamuli, who it was alleged he killed his friend, kidnapped and killed his friend, but they never saw the body. After 17 years in prison, before hanging, then the other one resurfaced. All the courts had finished their part. It was only waiting for the prerogative of mercy. That was before the Chigura case. One of the reasons this thing takes time is maybe there could be some other evidence to prove otherwise, so that an innocent person does not simply die.
According to the 2019 Act that gives President Museveni a period of 3 years to commit the likes of Oyum for execution, it elapses if no decision is given, and this opens one door away from death for Okello Oyum.
If the prerogative of committee does not do anything within that time, and 3 years expire according to the 2019 Act, then the sentence will be commuted into life sentence, equivalent to 50 years in prison. That's what awaits Okello.
Besides the above nitty-gritties, Uganda Prisons says it is more than ready to execute an order if it happens.
Because all what is required is there. The human resource is there, the scaffolds are there. It is not the first time it would happen.
It is from 1999, and that is 27 years ago, when the death bells of Uganda Prisons were last rung.
Is when the last process was done, 29 people were hanged. Since then we have not. But that one doesn't mean that if a decision is made today by the president, we won't. But right now we don't have anybody in that stage.
For now, Okello Oyum joins a long list of 92 other inmates who have been sentenced to death and now on a waiting roll.
The rest of the prisoners we have are still on the appeal process. Those who have concluded, finished 3 years without hanging, they have converted into serving life sentence.
In cases where one dies before his or her hanging day, the prison guides on what step follows.
If you die before you are put to hanging, the body is taken to the mortuary, and the relatives are called, and they take the body for burial. But the one who has been hanged remains government property, and it is buried by OC and the team.
There have been repeated calls from both human rights defenders and religious leaders to bend this norm, but prison says it is under Uganda's laws.
No person shall be deprived of life intentionally, except in execution of a sentence passed in a fair trial by a court of competent jurisdiction in respect of a criminal offence under the laws of Uganda, and the conviction and sentence have been confirmed by the highest appellate court.
With the public being anxious on having Oyum executed in public, government says this is for now impossible. Robert Nyango, UBC News.
Who changes this law?